Hello everyone, we've missed you. We're going to make something out of clay today from that clay pack, and we're going to work from this gorgeous book by Sean Tan, which is Grimm's Fairy Tales, and they've been he's made all these lovely little sculptures to illustrate them, and we're going to be working from this story called All Fur. It's a gorgeous little figurine, and this is about, you could look it up actually, it's a Grimm's Brothers fairy tale, but it's a little creature who's found in the forest wrapped in 5 different kinds of fur, and they're going to take her away and make her sweep the hearth in the kitchen, which is really mean. So we're going to make a lovely little creature in a fur cape. That's what we're going to do based on Sean Tan's beautiful sculpture here. You can make it any way you like. It doesn't have to be small and sweet like this. It can be big and scary. It's up to you. So let's get going. Everyone needs to just find a little spot to lay on the floor, and this is what we're going to do. We're just going to sit on our bottom. Ugh. I get to grunt, you don't. And then we're going to pull our knees up to our chest like this. And then I want you to think about where your knees come up to on your chest. Right, so your legs are actually more than half your body length. That's all we need to know. All right, let's go back and sit down. That will help us when we make our little clay here. Alright, let's go. So guys, what we've got is, we've got a clay pack. You've got your little clay pack, and if you have a look, you've got some white clay and you've got some brown clay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white clay first. With your little clay pack, it's got some tools in there. You'll have a toothpick, you have a little sponge to wipe your hands on if your hands get too dirty. I like to have a little cup of water close by for joining, and you'll have a few toothpicks in there too, good for making detail. So once you get your little clay pack, pull out the white clay, put the lid back on so that your brown clay doesn't go all soft. And what we're going to do is we're going to work on a piece of cardboard so the clay doesn't stick, and we're just going to use your hands, we're just going to squeeze a sausage shape. Alright, we've all done that before. And squeeze a sausage. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. If the sausage breaks a little bit, just use your fingers to fix it up. There we go. So there's our sausage. That's not bad. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit off the end of the sausage to make the little fruits that are sitting around little fur. Oop, there we go. Squeeze the sausage, squeeze the sausage. You can roll the sausage if you want to. Don't make it too skinny though. So this is going to be our little creature, our little sitting creature. And then I'm going to get my hands. If you're really little, stand up and just go squash, not too hard. We don't want to do that. That's too squashy. All right, so what we'll do if that happens, no problem, just squish all that back up together. Give it a little roll, or a little roll this way. Remember that clay, you can do whatever you want with clay. You can always get the shape back. So don't fuss too much about whether it's perfect. We just want a sausage. So I'm making my sausage longer by squishing it and then pressing it up, squishing it, then pressing it up. Actually, I want it a bit longer than that. All right, that looks good to me. So what I'm going to do is just smooth the ends off and squash it a little bit so that it's about that fat. All right, not too skinny or it'll be too hard to work. Squash a little bit more. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my toothpick and I'm going to find the halfway point. Now remember how we just lay down on our back? So that's where our legs are going to start. Then we're going to just get our clay, pick it up this way, make it sit up like this. Right, these are our legs. Put your finger here, push it over the top like that. So you make a little shape like that and then get it to sit up. See what I've done there? Right, and then I'm going to hold the clay and push in here to make the feet. Just push gently like that. So now you're going to end up with a shape like that. What we can do is use our fingers to push the clay a little bit to even it up. And to make the head, what I did was I actually pulled some off and made a ball. That's the easiest thing to do, make a ball. And if you want a big head, look, you just take a little bit more. And so it's up to you what size head you want. Just make a ball. To join the head on, the clay's quite wet, which is good. If you want to join the head on carefully, a little bit with the finger, a little bit with water. Make the head the shape that you like. So mine's turned out a little bit like a UFO. So I'm going to squash it in a bit. And I'm just going to put it on like that. Then I'm going to use my fingers to just, I'm wiping the clay onto itself. Wipe, 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 wipe. remember her little face, and we're working on this cardboard so we can turn it around as we go. So I'm wiping the clay onto itself so that the head doesn't just fall off. If your head just comes off like that, all you need to do is just stick it back on, wipe it a little bit. Doesn't matter if you lose a little bit of the ball shape, especially at the back of the head, that's okay. So we're really just making a little shape like that. All right. Okie dokie. Now, I'll take a little bit of here because I need some for her, or its hands. I forgot about hands. I'll take a little bit off here too for hands. Hands are so easy. The hands, when we make them, are just going to be 2 little squash balls. So you can make them now. What we'll do is we'll make all the white parts first, because when we put the brown on, if we have white clay on our hands, mine got a little bit of white clay through it, so if that bothers you, make the white parts first. So we want 2 balls the same size for the hands, and this is all we're going to do for the hands. We're just going to go squash, gentle squash, squash, like that, and then you can pinch them a little bit to make it like a wedge shape. Right, now you've got 2 hands ready to go. Now what we're going to do is we'll put her to one side, or it to one side, doesn't have to be there. Flip the cardboard over so that we've got the corrugation. You should go to the sink and wash your hands. I don't think I will because I'm kind of lazy, but never mind. If you have white clay on your hands, when you roll out the brown clay, it will change the colour of it slightly. It doesn't really matter. Now, some of you are quite little. My hands are big, so it's easy for me to squash the clay. Some of you might have a little bit of trouble, so I would suggest that you do as I did before, which is stand up nice and strong, and this bit of your hand, that's the squashy bit of your hand, and you're going to press the clay, right? And what I do is I press and I put all my weight on it, so I'm not just going, oh, nothing's happening, I'm squishing it, giving a good squish, and I'm giving it a twist. Squish, 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 squish. Just keep squishing. Squish, 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 squish. So we want it, it's a little bit like making a pastry. If this doesn't work, you can get your fist in there and try squishing with your fist. That's pretty good fun too. But the idea is to make it just a little bit flatter than the shape that you already had. And a little bit, I'm squishing and pushing, and each little, so I'm just doing a little half twist. Squish, 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 squishy, squish, squish. Alright, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a knife. It doesn't have to be a plastic knife, but you know, if you have one, that's helpful. And I'm going to make, look, this is going to be the hood. This part here, I just made it, that's going to be her hood, its hood. And I'm going to cut in 2 little V's like that. 2 little V shapes like that. And you can use the corrugated cardboard, just pick it up slightly, pull out those V's. Doesn't matter if they don't come out cleanly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to unpick. Okay, if it breaks, don't panic. What we can do is just pick off the bit that you have. If the clay's soft, it'll be easy to fix. Turn it over so that you're on the smooth side. Just squish it back together with your fingers. So I'm using my fingers. I do a lot of this wiping the clay onto itself. Right. So let's see how this fits. I put the clay over the head like that. So here's the hood. And then we're just going to wrap it in around her like that. This is a little bit tricky, so take your time. Or if your hands won't do it for you, you might ask someone to help you. So you're just going to push it in gently like that around the face. And squish it in a little bit with your hands, like that. Look at that, and then pull the lid down, like that. What we're going to do with these parts here is put a finger here, fold it back like that. Right, we're going to put a finger here and fold it back like that, and that's what the ears, that's going to be the ears. So here we go. So with the ears, we're just pinching and shaping, and you can make the ears any shape you want. On this one, I made the ears sit backwards, like a little, I don't know, a little wolf. You can make them sit up if you like. You can make them like little horns. You can make them any shape that you like. Now, what I want is I want it to be sort of in around the face a little bit more. So you can just push push it. So this is quite a good one. She's really snuggled into the fur there. Right, then I'm going to take my toothpick and I'm going to put the eyes in. When I do the eyes, when I'm holding the toothpick, I'm not holding it like a stabbing tool. I'm holding it a little bit sideways like this so that I can make a line by pressing it in. So I'm not stabbing it in, I'm just sort of laying it on its side like that and making a little press. So try on a practice piece of clay first before you do the eyes, and then when you feel happy making that shape, what you can do is fold the hood back a little bit and just watch. One eye, turn around the other way, two eyes. So have a look at the picture that's come with the clay kit. Have a look at this. I think this is gorgeous. You might like to do your eyes differently, but see the way that they're little on a slightly slanted angle and they're just little indents. You can make them like that. You can make them however you want. And she's got the blanket drawn up around her ears, so now what we can do is just pull that back down like that and make that lay down. Make it whatever shape you want. To make the little hands, what we're going to do is pull that in a little bit. Where do her hands go? There they are. Look at this. So the hand's a little bit like give it a pinch so it's a bit like a teardrop shape. Right, then what you can do is you just put them on like this, like two little mittens. Put them on where you want to put them on. That one's got a little bit of stuff on it. There. Now, you've got choices with the legs. Your little creature can have as many legs as you want. If you want to have 2 legs, just gently get the knife and just straight down, a little chop like that. And give it a little wiggle before you try and pull it out. Otherwise the clay will stick and it might break. So you can put the legs on whatever angle you want. Now, you can make the knees smoother with some water, and you can also make it doesn't have to have the knees sitting up. You could have, look at this, you could point the toes. You could do one little pointed toe. You can make them whatever shape you like. Right, so it's this little S bend that's going on that's making the leg and the foot. If you want to have big feet, look, squish, 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 squish. That's mega feet. Look at that. And then what you could do is use your knife, pick them up from the thing, and you can make them curl up like this. If you're not fancying big feet and you want little dainty feet, pinch. So you just pinch the shape down to make it the way that you want it. If you want to have teeny tiny feet, just keep pinching off until it's very small. Right, so there we go. Feet, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dip into the water a tiny bit. I don't want to make my finger too wet. I just want a little tiny bit of water, maybe wipe on a bit of paper towel, and I'm just going to smooth the knees off a little bit. Smooth the feet off a little bit. Remember, we don't want to make our little figurine too wet because we don't want white clay going all over the brown clay. And smooth the hands off a little bit and just lift up the lid and check the face. If the face has got any rough bits that you don't want, just give it a little smoothing. Put the lid back down. Gorgeous. To make the fingers, you can get your toothpick. You already had practice doing the eyes, and so what we're going to do is we're just going to make a little thumb like that. 1, 2, like that. There we go. And if you want to put toes, you can do the same with the toes. I put little shoes on mine, which was quite fun. I'll show you how to make the shoes. We want 2 little balls of clay. There is more clay in your tubby, so if you need to access that, just pull some out. Put a little bit off. I might want to save the rest of it to make something else. You have to use it all on this. Look, 2 balls. There you go. 1, 2. Oh, and I forgot an extra little tiny bit for a sausage. Look at that. Skinny sausage. You can either roll it in your hands, or if that doesn't work for you, you can roll a little skinny sausage on your board. Do skinny sausage. Break the skinny sausage in half. To make the shoes, very easy. Look at this. There we go. Squish, 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 squish. If you want them flatter, just squish them a bit more. And now if they're too big, you use your hands and you just pinch them in a little bit to make them more like a foot shape. Right, use your knife here. There you go, lift one up. Slide it underneath, put it back down. If your knife starts getting mucky, just clean the clay off it so that it slides in underneath nice and cleanly. Lift it up, slide it under, put it down. Clean the toes up a little bit, and you can just get your little sausage and make a strap like that. They look like little Japanese bath sandals. cute. You can bring that down even lower if you want to. She looks like she's huddled. So this one has turned out a bit different from my other one because I think I made the body too short, which bugs me a little bit, but never mind. That's just the way it's going to be. So here's the jacket. It's already got marks on it from the corrugation, which is sort of nice. Now you can use your toothpick or a fork. So if you're going to use a fork, use it backwards so that rather than scraping it with the prongs down, scrape it with the prongs facing up to you and be gentle. You know, and you can make any sort of texture you want. So you can practice on the back a little bit first. And when you feel confident that you're making a texture that you like, remember there were 5 different kinds of fur, so you can make different textures in different places. I used a toothpick when I was doing the delicate areas around the ears, and what I did was I held the clay gently so that I didn't bend it, and then the toothpick's just laying on its side again. So I'm not stabbing into the clay, I'm just kind of wiping it with the toothpick. And when I get to a delicate area, I'm putting my fingers behind so that I don't push the shape away. Alright, so as deep as you want, as many as you want. Which is cute. It's a nice wintry thing to make. Looks really, really warm in there, even though clay's not warm. Good texture on like that. And you can change the shape of the cape. You can push it in or you can pull it out. Very cute. Now to make the little fruits, they're so easy. What we did was just pick off some little bits of white clay. They might be too big actually. Small. So this is a little bit fiddly. This might not be your thing. You know, if you want to, just make some little balls like that and don't worry about putting a stem on. If you're happy with that, that's absolutely fine. So I'll show you 2 ways. So this is the easiest way, and this is the slightly more complicated way. So there you go, that's easy way. So that's however many fruits you want is however many balls you make. If you want to make them a bit more complex, what you're going to do is this is very fiddly but kind of nice. Pinch off some little tiny bits of the brown clay. See these little just teeny tiny bits. Pinch off as many bits as you have made balls, so that you do it all in one hit. All right, so you've got all these little bits of clay, and then you're going to do teeny tiny, look at those little minis. 1, 2, use the palm of your hand and just your finger. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to use my toothpick. Watch this. I'm going to just get my white clay. Picks up the brown clay if you just stick it on. Stick the toothpick in the middle. Hold it and gently twist it to pull it out, otherwise it pops off. I put my glasses on, can't see. And then we're going to use the side of the toothpick to do 1, 2, 3, 4, or however many you like, just to press it on. It looks like a little hazelnut or something like that. So that's what your little fruits look like. I think they're like a little acorn. You can make them smaller. It's just it's quite fiddly. So when you push it right in so that the 2 bits of clay fuse together, and then lay it on its side. Go like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, just to give it a little bit of shape. All right. If this is not interesting to you, don't bother to do it. But the fun bit is when we're going to dip it in the paint. So you'll have a little tub of red paint. I've already put some in a saucer because I didn't have access to a tub. And all I did was, look, you just pick the fruit up by giving it a bit of a stab. Give it a bit of a stab, pop it in the paint, and just... It's probably better if you put the paint in a little saucer or something so that you can roll. It's like just roll. If you want it completely covered, then just roll it more, but that's a bit too much paint. That's going to take forever to dry. So roll it a little bit till some of the paint comes off, and then use another toothpick to just pick it off like that, and just let it sit and dry somewhere before you try and put it on your work. So this is fun. The rolling part's fun. Take a bit of paint and then use the edge of a saucer or a plate to just, see, I'm just going round and round and round and round to get rid of some of that excess paint, and just let it sit to dry. Teeny tiny tomatoes. You can put them straight on, but then they'll leave red paint everywhere if they're not in the right spot for you. Alright, so have a little bit of a pack up. Now, and then you can just put her or put this little creature on another piece of paper. So you should be able to just pick it up. Pick it up like that. So there you go, look at that. Twins now. To get your fruits onto the paper, so what you can do once you're done, you can just gently pick the whole thing up and put it wherever you want to put it, if you don't want to leave it on this board. And to pick your fruits up, if you can't wait and they're still wet, use your toothpick, just stick it down in the middle, pick it up, second toothpick, work out where you want to put it and just very gently, blop, pick it up. There we are, two like that. There we go, two little fur creatures. Anyway, have lots of fun, and yeah, I should probably be able to show you how to make some other thing next week.